morning, Purdue University. It is October 3rd, 2018, and this is Next Point Wins. Welcome into the show. Happy to have you here. Come on in, take a seat, stay a while. We have a lot of great action and sports talk planned for you for this next hour here on WCCR Purdue. If you're listening live in the WCCR Purdue area in the Tuned In app, welcome. If you're listening live on campus, welcome. If you are listening in the podcast, thanks for stopping by as well. Hopefully you enjoy your drive home today from work or hanging out around the house later tonight or tomorrow. If you're new to the show, my name is Matthew Geely. This is our fourth season of Next Point Wins, fourth season, episode 4. I gotta do the math, which that's gonna take a while because me and math don't exactly get along. But I think we're getting close to a milestone episode coming up. I'm about to do the math on it, but we're getting close, I would imagine, to big number 50, the 50th episode. We'll get to that probably later this semester. So I'll have to do that math and see how far away we are. I know it's not far. We're at least 40 episodes in. I would guess closer to 45 or 50. So that's exciting. So yeah, this show's been around for a while. We do an hour-long sports talk, but we also get into some other things throughout the show, always. And, you know, it usually is a pretty good time. We've got a special Brainy Bunch special report coming up later. Some guys in the back room, some key contributors to the show, have pointed out a Brainy Bunch segment that needs to happen. Normally, I haven't been told anything about this. Normally, it has to do with one of our own doing something unsportsmanlike or wrong, but I haven't been told anything about it, so I'm afraid that maybe this one might be coming at me. I'm not sure, but, you know, they're journalists first, and that's why I hired them. Journalists before people, which is our motto around here. And if they see a story that needs to be broke, they're going to break it, and that's why I like them. So we'll have that Brainy Bunch special report coming up at about 10:30. We got plenty of football talk, but I want to start with what I'm sure a lot of people are tuning in to listen to today, because saw a lot of W flags hooked to backpacks yesterday walking to class. Saw a lot of Rizzo jerseys, a lot of Chris Bryant jerseys, a couple of throwback Sammy Sosa jerseys. There's blue and white everywhere. And it is a dark and gray morning if you're a Cubs fan, as they fall to the Rockies last night 2-1 in 13 innings. I will say, the sun came out. Everybody's all right. You live to see another day. It happens. As a diehard fan of teams that normally don't win much, I can't necessarily relate to Cubs fans, especially Cubs fans that have been around for years and years and years, because they've been through some of the most heartbreak I've ever seen. But recently, ever since I've been here at college, I would say they've had a pretty good run at it. Competitive team every year, always in the mix to do well in the playoffs and to get to the playoffs and make a run. This year, it was a team that looked like on paper that they were going to be phenomenal. They looked like they were World Series or bust on paper. And they made a couple moves at the deadline. They got Cole Hamels, you know. They got Daniel Murphy, and it looked like that bullpen was good enough to where, okay, this team could really make some noise. But then the bats went quiet down the stretch. You let the Brewers back into the division, and then they take you 2 days ago, they take you and win the division, and it makes it to play this one-and-done wild card game the next day, which is incredibly difficult to do. I'm amazed, and I don't know if it's different, because I know baseball players are used to playing back-to-backers. Like, that's nothing new, and it helps when, like, the game yesterday was at 1 o'clock. So it was advantage Cubs, no doubt about it. No excuses can be made for the Cubs. It was so advantage Cubs. You got to play the 1 o'clock game. You got to turn around and you played that at home, and then you turn around and you play again at home. That's advantage Cubs. Rockies are out in L.A., playing the afternoon game, which time change, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Play the afternoon game, you win it, and then you got to travel all the way to Chicago. You lose, what is it, like 3 hours, 4 hours? I don't know what the time change is there. Probably 3 hours. You lose 3 hours, you get into Chicago, and you turn around and you got to play the next day. That is tough. And you're coming off of playing in Washington, so you travel from Washington all the way up to LA for a day, and then to Chicago. That takes a lot of heart, and they played their starting pitcher, Freeland, was amazing last night, and I didn't see it coming. I thought the Cubs would get on him early, and I knew the Rockies would score because I didn't know. I thought the Rockies would score, and I thought it'd be like a 6-8 final where the Cubs prevail in like the 7th or 8th inning, and they win it 6-8. I didn't expect it to be such a pitcher's duel. I mean, Freeland goes 6 2/3, 4 hits, 1 walk, 6 Ks. You can't ask for more out of a starter, especially when you have the bullpen the Rockies have. That bullpen was sneaky good. That Tavino, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He threw an inning, 2 hits, 1 earned, 2 Ks. He did walk a guy, and he was very wild. He had a wild pitch, but his slider was amazing. Really, really nice slider. And when he could get over the plate, he was almost unhittable. And on the other side for the Cubs, you got to hit the ball. You have to hit the ball. In extra innings, no hits. Couple walks, but no hits in extra innings. And it was interesting to see the different strategies by the two managers. And it makes sense because for the Rockies, their strong point when it comes to pitching is by far their bullpen. Their starting pitching falls off quickly. So I fully expected them to go to the pen and stick with the pen. Now, the Cubs, on the other hand, they seem to. Okay, how do I phrase this? I would suspect, and by the looks of it and the numbers and how they played all year, that bullpen was better than the starting rotation. Seemed to me like the bullpen was consistently better all year long. You know, the pitching was up and down. You had Yu Darvish, who you lost. He was a waste of time. Hendricks was up and down all year. Quintana had his moments. Lester was really good. Then he kind of fell off. And then he kind of came back. He threw great last night. And then Hamels, since he's come to Chicago, he's been fairly good. And he's always good in the postseason. It's just kind of that's why they got him. I mean, so that made sense. But it was interesting to me that Madden decided to go kind of starting pitcher heavy in extra innings instead of sticking to his bullpen. He went Chavez, Rosario, Cechek, Strop. Those are all relievers. But then he starts extra innings with Cole Hamels, who threw well, and I'm not questioning that decision at all because this is what he does. He is all about the playoffs. He is a playoff pitching machine. He goes 2 innings, gives up 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 K, does really well. Then you go to Wilson, so you go back to a reliever just to get an out. He gets the out. And then you go Hendricks. Now, hindsight's 20/20, and Hendricks didn't throw well, but that's not who I would have went. I really wouldn't have. I know you used Edwards the night before, so maybe he wasn't available, but that would have been a name I would have liked to see before Hendricks. You go to De La Rosa, which was also an interesting move. He gets the out, gets the strikeout, but not what I would. I mean, that's interesting just because he was with the Rockies forever, and so you go back. He was a starter for the Rockies. He was in the Cubs bullpen. He wasn't a starter for the Cubs, but I mean, he's had a pretty good year, 3.38 ERA. He's been solid. So that makes sense, but the Hendricks move is questionable. And I know you need... Okay, there's 2 ways to look at this, and I understand both. I understand that run in the 8th inning that you had to get to extend the game. I get that. But I don't know if getting Rizzo out of the pitch running for Rizzo, I thought that was a bold move. And Joe Madden is known as one of the bold move managers of the entire league. In the history of the league, he makes bold moves. I thought that was a bold move. I understand that they bring in a speedster who steals second, and then the base hit scores him. I get that. But I just thought that was a really bold move to pitch run Rizzo out of the game. On one side you look at it, and you got to get that run in order to extend the game. But on the other side, it's such a tight game. I guess you would hope that you could get the job done in regular time. But let's just say that Rizzo's bat would have been helpful in the extra innings. It just would have been. I mean, they were pretty much out of bench. Why am I blanking right now? Contreras kind of came up gimpy in extra innings, and I thought, man, if he has to go out, who are they going to bring in to catch? They had one guy left on the bench. It was a position player. Interesting game. It's more interesting in the National League with the whole pitchers hit and pitch hitting and this and that. It was an exciting game. Now I will say, and I hate to be the old guy, but I know I'm not the only one with this opinion. That was a late game. It's the only game on TV. Why couldn't we start it at 7 or 7:30? And you play the Eastern time zone. There's no questioning that. Never has that been in question. Eastern time zone rules when it comes to just about everything, but especially sports. Just does. Always has. I get for Chicago, if you play it at 7, that's at 6. But still, I mean, 6 o'clock, that's not that early. Even 7:30 would be better. I mean, that was just a late game. It didn't really start till 8:15, 8:20. I don't know. It's the only game on TV. I would have liked to see it start a little earlier. I fell asleep. I made it to the top of the 13th, and I fell asleep. I missed the Rockies score. And when I woke up, I saw the score and knew that Colorado had won. And I think everybody had the Cubs in that game. The majority of everybody I was talking to was Cubs, Cubs, Cubs. A lot of people thought that if the Cubs get by the Rockies, they're going to stomp on the Brewers, which I didn't understand. Brewers have been playing such good ball lately. I mean, a lot of people had Cubs to go to the World Series. It was amazing the way that they couldn't close out I mean, it just all comes back to you got to close out your division. You avoid the wild card game. That way you don't run into a pitcher like Freeland who has a great night and goes 6 strong. And now you're facing you're going bullpen versus hitters, which never really goes well unless you can get one who's wild. And I thought for a minute that slider throw-in Rockies reliever was going to be the one that was going to go wild and let the Cubs back in it, and he kind of did. The Cubs score in the 8th, but he was able to control it enough to get out of it and to avoid losing the game. And then you start going bullpen versus whoever you got, and it's up in the air. You get the advantage of batting last, but it's just up in the air every time. We'll preview the rest of the playoffs here in a second. I do want to talk about the game that's tonight, Athletics versus the Yankees. This is another one where everybody I talk to, believe it or not, are thinking the Athletics are going to win. And I think it's more wishful thinking than anything else. I don't see the Athletics as anywhere near as good as a team as the Yankees. But I think it's a lot of people who don't like the Yankees who are hoping the Athletics win. Let's just put it this way. I kind of want the Yankees to win just for personal viewing interest because I think Yankees-Red Sox playoffs is always going to be fun. And that would be just an absolute slugfest. So I think that's why I am thinking I picked the Yankees to win it. They got Severino on the mound, which is their ace. Going against, fun game. Time to play a fun game. I always like to play these games with my listeners because it's an easy game to play if you're driving in the car. It's an easy game to play if you're walking to class. It's even an easy game to play. It's easy. It's the most fun is if you walk into class with somebody or sitting in class with somebody. You turn to your buddy and you go, "Hey, Ask him or her this question. Name one, low bar, setting the lowest bar possible. Name one position player for the Oakland Athletics and name one pitcher. I'll wait. One position player, one pitcher for the Oakland Athletics. A team that won 90-some games in the regular season. Okay, no, Bartolo Colon is not on the Athletics anymore. I personally know one position player. I know Chris Davis because he just set like a crazy record for batting .242 for like 4 straight seasons or something. I saw that the other day on Twitter. So I do know Chris Davis, or Crush Davis, as the Athletic fans like to call him, Crush Davis. I don't know a pitcher. I can't even think of like a closer. And I'm a avid fantasy baseball player. Avid. I love it. And it's helped me learn a lot of names. A lot of weird, obscure names for a lot of weird and obscure teams. But I cannot think from the top of my head of any Oakland Athletic pitcher. You guys want to know who's pitching tonight? Liam Hendricks. Liam, not the actor. Liam Neeson, that's one. And then there's Liam. Which one's the heartthrob that was in? He dated Miley Cyrus, but I think he was also in a movie with Miley Cyrus. Liam, what was that movie called? Oh man, why'd I do this? Our last song. Brian's no. Oh, the last song. What's his name? Liam. Come on, what's his name? That's a great movie, by the way. Sneaky good movie. Liam Hemsworth. Yeah. If we had a hot guy draft for actors, yeah, he's probably getting picked. He's probably a top 10 pick. That's a good movie too. Came out in 2010. Big Miley Cyrus guy, but that's a good movie. Unbiased opinion. The last song. It's worth a watch. If you're a guy, I wouldn't exactly pop it in the old Blu-ray with just a bunch of dudes, but if you got a girlfriend or a lady friend, or you got a night home alone, last song. That's a good movie. I'm gonna get killed for this on Twitter, but you know what? I'm comfortable with who I am. All right. Last song is a good movie. Liam Hemsworth. Okay, it's not him. He's not pitching for the Athletics tonight. It's Liam Hendricks. Then you might be thinking, wow, how many games has he won this year? 0. 0 games has he won. Nada. None. Oh, okay, that's weird. How many games has he started? 8. 8 games. Huh, that's weird. How many innings has he pitched? 24. Interesting. ERA, 4.13. Here's the kicker. He is not a starting pitcher. He's a reliever. The Athletics, who have always been known as a little bit cuckoo, they had the whole Moneyball thing, which, another good movie, great movie, Moneyball. Love Moneyball. I'm sure everybody's seen Moneyball, but to be honest, we're talking like cheesy but good sports movies. Like, not like classic good sports movies, but like kind of cheesy but entertaining and worth watching over and over again. Draft Day and Moneyball are good. Really good. Robin Wright, she plays Sharon. She's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Huge fan of hers. I don't know what else she's in, so I guess I can't say I'm a fan of hers. I'm a fan of hers in that movie. She's good. Yeah. Good actress. Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill. They got some good stars in that movie. Anyways, they had the whole Moneyball thing, and they've always been like the analytic team, the stat team. This one's really kind of out there, though. Like, you go with the reliever, and not only that, but I saw this article about him, and like what his journey to this point. Let me just read this for you. This is courtesy of the Associated Press. That's right, giving out credit to other people. It's a new thing I'm going to try to do instead of just going over it. Okay, this is courtesy of the Associated Press. A reliever is going to start a team's postseason opener. A pitcher with no wins in the regular season. A pitcher cut from the 40-man roster in June, who spent 2 months in the minor leagues. Yeah, this guy wasn't even in the majors in June. They're doing, another quick fun game, and then I'm gonna quit with the fun games. But quick fun game. I will give you the Oakland A's manager's last name. You have to guess his first name. Melvin. Melvin is his last name. Does anybody out there know who the wild card 90-win Oakland Athletic A's manager's first name is? Last name, Melvin. 10 seconds. Three, two, one. If you guessed Bob, you are correct. Bob Melvin. You could have gave me 40 tries. There's no way I would have guessed Bob. Bob Melvin. That's the problem with the MLB. We don't know anything about it. It's crazy. It's on all the time. The coverage is so-so, not great. I don't even know the manager of a team. It's just something about baseball right now that's just weird. Postseason baseball is fun, but it's not great. I was asked last night to rank like sports I like to watch, which I thought was very interesting. I'll give you my list coming up, and you can make your own and send it to me. Tweet it at me. Your list of top 6 sports or leagues you like to watch. I'll have mine coming up here shortly. Anyways, so they're going to go with the reliever, and what they're going to do is they're flipping it. They're starting with the reliever or a couple relievers, and then they're going to their starter. I don't know. They've hardly tried it in the regular season. They're going to give it a shot. It's going to make me want to tune in and see if it works. I will say that, but I don't see it working well. I could be wrong though. It'll be interesting. I'll give you my World Series picks after my football picks coming up here in a minute, and we're going to get to football right now. And then we still got the Brady Bunch special report. It's a busy day here on Next Point Wins. I also have time to answer your comments, questions, and concerns. If you email them to me at nextptwins@gmail.com or message me on Twitter at Matt_Geely. Tweet at me. Use hashtag unsportsmanlike conduct if you have an unsportsmanlike conduct you want me to see. That's also where you'll find news and notes about me throughout the week. Any random thoughts I have, including just gems of advice like watching The Last Song. It's a great movie. I can't believe I pulled that one out. I knew it. Alright, moving on. So Brady Bunch special report. If you're listening on the podcast, hi, welcome. If you turned off the podcast because you don't want to really hear about Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth, that's fine. Maybe you should culture yourself. You know, every knowledge is good knowledge, so stick around. There'll be a lot more gems coming out of me probably by the end of the day. So welcome. If you're listening live and you have a class at 10:30 and you're about to shut me off, go listen to the rest of the show on the podcast. Next PT Wins, Next Point Wins on YouTube, and SoundCloud. If you go to YouTube and you miss any show from any of the first 4 seasons, you can go back and look at them and listen to them. Fair warning, season 1 was a little rough. It's amazing how far we've come in 4 seasons, guys. Between the listeners, the amount of people who chime in, it's really nice. It's pretty cool. Josh in Lafayette emailed me this morning wanting to know what's most important for Purdue football as they enter the bye week, and do you see this team as being a bowl-eligible team? Josh, thanks for emailing in. Thanks for listening to the show as well. As far as the bye week goes, knock on wood, This team is fairly healthy. You had Sindelar a little banged up, and a couple players in the secondary got a little banged up. I know a couple linebackers dealing with some stuff or whatnot. So it's good though that it hasn't been like a serious problem with injuries. So I guess this week is big on rest. This week is big on kind of taking a break. Bye weeks are huge on self-maintenance, getting your body back to feeling really, really good going into the final stretch of the Big Ten season. Do I see this team being a bowl-eligible team? Last week they looked good. I unfortunately didn't get to watch the game as closely as I would have liked. I was actually at a wedding, so I was streaming on my phone at the wedding reception during dinner, which I'm not sure if that's found. What is wedding reception etiquette on phones at the dinner table watching sports? Part of me says that's probably not very polite, but another part of me says, well, the wedding's during football season. What do they expect? I don't know. I mean, no one said anything. It was just, I wasn't like hooting and hollering and rooting for Purdue. I was just watching. But, 42-28 final. Boilers take care of Nebraska. Nebraska's winnable game, not so winnable as they now go 0-4, 0-2 in the Big Ten. I think Coach Scott Frost is a good coach. I think he's going to be fine at Nebraska. I think it's going to take a year or two to get his players in there and to get his recruiting in there. But they didn't look very good, and they look like they don't even play hard for him at some point. I mean, that defense was just horrendous. Blau throws for 328 yards and a touchdown. Knox and Markel Jones ran really well. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know the status of this, or maybe I'm poking a bear that's hibernating, but Richie Worship has been hurt all year. And I don't know if he's a guy who's coming back here soon, or if he's out for a while. But this is already a pretty backfield that's loaded with talent, and I don't really know where Richie Worship fits in. I don't know if he has. I'm sure a lot of you remember Richie Worship from last year. He was a hard runner. Put your head down, get a couple yards, goal line, just a hard. He was almost like a fullback, and he was very effective when you had him and DJ Knox or Marco Jones in the backfield with him. Really, really, really effective, and that's a part of our offense. I don't know if we're going to get to see this year or not. I'm not sure where he is in his healing process, his recovery. But I think that's a name to keep an eye out and keep an ear open to coming out of the bye on where he's at and where he might fit into this offense. But defense had its moments. It gave up some points in the second half, 21 points in the second half, which was a little scary. But, it was a kind of a track meet, it seemed like. It kind of opened up. Is this a bowl team? You go to Illinois next. That's a win. It needs, okay, when I say that's a win, that must be a win. Like, that's a must-win game, just like Nebraska was. That gets you 3 in a row, and you come back home to Ohio State, which is going to be very, very difficult. That's a very difficult game. It's going to be a lot of fun, though. If you come back 3-3 after winning 3 in a row to Ohio State at home, which will probably be an afternoon or night game, that's going to be a great time. I'm already looking forward to that game. Austin Mack coming into town. For all you Fort Wayne listeners, you should buy your tickets now to come to Ross-Ade to see Austin Mack live. I got to reach out to Austin. I know he listens to the show periodically. Austin, if you're listening to this episode, let's link up and let's get an interview done before the game. Love to hear from you. I know you're having a monster year. We'll talk about Ohio State in a little bit on their impressive win against Penn State. But yeah, we got to get Austin Mack on the show. He came on the show last year. I had a great interview with Next Point Wins and myself. I know we really appreciated it then. I'm sure he'll be up to doing it again. So then you have Ohio State. That's going to be a very tough game, and by very tough I mean probably a loss. I mean, it's a top 5 team, and they're solid. That's a national championship contending team. So you do get them in Ross-Ade, and it's probably going to be under the lights, which is going to be amazing. And crazier things have happened, but it's going to take a village to beat Ohio State. So you still had 3 wins if you get the Illinois game. So you got to find 3 more to get bowl eligible. You have to find 3 more out of these remaining games. Ohio State, at Michigan State, home against Iowa, at Minnesota, home against Wisconsin, at Indiana. Here's the way I look at it. You get Illinois, that gets you at 3. You get Iowa at home, that gets you to 4. You get Minnesota on the road, that gets you to 5. You get at Indiana, there's your 6th. Those are all games we're probably going to be favored in. Maybe not home against Iowa. That's probably a toss-up. But if we're sitting at 3 or 4, 3 wins going into Iowa, that's probably Iowa's favored, but it's close, and it's at home. It's probably one you can get. That gets you to 6. So let's say Purdue has a hiccup in one of those games. Where's another win on the schedule? At Michigan State is a saucy game for me. At Michigan State would be very interesting. And okay, here's one. This is where I get myself fired up and I get you fired up. And you don't want to look too far ahead, but as a player, you don't want to do it. But as a radio talk show host, absolutely look as far ahead as you want. Let me run this scenario by you, and let's see how crazy you feel at this point. Purdue's a one-loss team in the Big Ten, right? In their conference. Let's say you beat Illinois. That gets you to 3 wins. You go to Michigan State, and you play them tough, win or lose. Okay, win or lose, Michigan State don't really care. You come back home to Iowa, you beat them. There's your 4th win. At Minnesota, that's your 5th win. That sets up a date with Wisconsin at home. Let's say you beat Illinois, lose to Ohio State, and then you go get Sparty, Iowa, and Minnesota in a row. Now you're telling me that we're already at 6 wins with Wisconsin coming to town, and you're probably near the top of the conference? Holy snikes. You want to talk about an electric atmosphere at Ross-Ade. I mean, Wisconsin doesn't exactly have an easy stretch leading up to us. They got Nebraska at home. That's a win. Then they go to Michigan. Hello. Home for Illinois. That's a win. At Northwestern. That's a saucy game. Northwestern could help us out there. Home versus Rutgers. That's a win. At Penn State. Yikes. And then they go to Purdue. Northwestern could really come through. Northwestern beats them, and they're a one-loss team in conference play coming into us. And we take care of Iowa, and we're a one-loss conference team coming into them. If you take care of Iowa and Minnesota, you're a one-loss conference team coming into them. That's 2 one-loss conference teams at Ross-Ade Stadium. You don't even have to beat Ohio State and Michigan State. If we're talking conference, I mean, come on, sign me up. Sign me up. This became the biggest Northwestern fan on the planet. So, Josh, to come back with my long-winded answer, yes, I think this Purdue team is a bowl team, but it's going to take no weeks off. They have to play well from here on out. You don't have to beat everybody, but you have to play well. You can't slip up against a lesser opponent. And if you play well, then you have a chance to shock some people. I think our offense is by far, in a way, good enough to make a bowl. And I think the defense can hold on for dear life, and we can get into some shootouts, because I believe in Nick Holt, and I believe in the growth I've already seen out of that unit this year. I mean, they gave up 31 points to Northwestern. They gave up 40 to Missouri. And then you turn around and you give up 13 to Boston College, and you give up 28 to Nebraska. This team's growing. This team's showing growth. And to that 28, a couple of those in the second half were kind of garbage touchdowns. So, yes, I do think that this is a team coming out of the bye that can make some noise. And we could have a matchup in Ross-Ade Stadium against Wisconsin coming up that could be, I mean, absolutely electric in November. Can't wait. All right. Let me give you my college football picks. First, I want to just talk about a couple more games that happened last week, because it was a pretty good slate of games last week. Clemson and Syracuse was interesting to me. That Clemson team just got really interesting because, so just to catch anybody up who doesn't really understand the story or hasn't heard the story yet, your starter in the game was Trevor Lawrence, highly touted recruit true freshman who I guess is amazing. He's your starter. He goes 10 of 15 for 93 yards and gets hurt. And he gets hurt bad. Well, he took over the job for Bryant, quarterback who got him to this point, has been solid for really good. Sorry, I'm looking there. Kelly Bryant. I was trying to get his full name. So Bryant gets kicked out of the starting job, and they bring in the 5-star freshman Lawrence. And Bryant then says, "Okay, I'm transferring," and just leaves the campus, leaves the team. Doesn't even say who he's transferring to. He's probably back at home. His home is like 20 minutes from campus. So he's like, "All right, I'm out then. Don't even give me a chance to win the job. I'm out." So Lawrence takes over, gets hurt. So now they're at their 3rd-string quarterback with Bryant nowhere to be found because he quit the team. And this Chase Bryce comes through, throws 7 of 13, 83 yards, and 1 interception, and somehow squeaks out the win. And now it's looking like that Lawrence, the 5-star freshman, is going to be out at least another week or two. You look at their upcoming schedule at Wake Forest, should be an easy win, but I don't know, you got a 3rd-string quarterback now. And then you're at home against NC State before going to Florida State, home for Louisville, and at Boston College. Like, you would think that it sounds like he could probably be back by the Florida State game, but I don't know. 23 ranked NC State. This no longer looks like a Clemson team that's a force to be reckoned with to make the playoff. Their defense is out of this world, and I get that, but you got to be able to score some points. Oh boy. So Clemson's going to be an interesting team to watch these next couple weeks. West Virginia beat Texas Tech 42-34 in a shootout. Oklahoma beat the crap out of Baylor 66-33. Georgia took care of business against Tennessee 38-12. Not a huge margin of victory, but a win. Texas 19, Kansas State 14. Michigan got everything they needed and everything they could handle from Northwestern. Hey, Northwestern, we need that effort again against Wisconsin, but this time come through with the win. Michigan beat them 2017 in a very close back-and-forth game. Florida upset Mississippi State on the road. Florida is improving as the weeks go on. And then Ohio State holds on to beat Penn State 27-26. No, I did not like the play call from Penn State. You can't take the ball out of McSorley's hands. He is a Heisman candidate favorite. He is the best player on your team. He has to have the ball in his hand. The way he can run and extend plays, you have to give him a chance to make a play. I did not like the play call. I did not like the shotgun read option. I don't even know if it was a read option. I think it was just a handoff. I really do. I don't even think he had the option to keep it. Just was blown up from the get-go, and I did not like the call. At least if you throw the ball, you have a chance of getting a pass interference or a holding penalty. Ran it right up the middle, got stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. Ohio State, who didn't play well in this game, especially in the first half, but played good enough, and good teams find a way to win ugly. Ohio State found a way to win ugly as they get the win in the last seconds. And then Notre Dame looked really looked really good beating up on Stanford. Notre Dame now still keeps their perfect record as they head into Virginia Tech. That's part of my picks coming up later. Stanford did not play well at all. Notre Dame looked good. The new quarterback, I think, has made a huge difference in this team as he is now making them look stronger and stronger as the weeks go on. All right, let's do picks. Got a couple minutes left in the show. I gotta get picks. I gotta get World Series picks, and I gotta get a Brady Bunch special report in all before we leave. So we gotta get going here. All right, so we'll do college picks first since we're on the college train right now. First up, Texas +8 versus Oklahoma. The shootout, the rivalry, Red River rivalry. I love hearing people say it because I can't say it either. If you say it fast enough, it just it becomes one word. Red River rivalry. Texas versus Oklahoma. Texas +8. Texas always plays Oklahoma tight. Always do. And I think Oklahoma wins, but I think it's close. So I'll take Texas with the points. LSU -2 at Florida. Florida just upset Mississippi State last week, looking pretty good. LSU's been strong all year. Coach O is probably up for Coach of the Year in the SEC. He's done a phenomenal job with LSU. Everybody thought going into the season he's going to lose a couple games early on, and he's going to find himself on the hot seat. He's done the complete opposite. He's made that team a force to be reckoned with. I'll take LSU, giving up the 2. Notre Dame at Virginia Tech, getting 6. It's another 2 ranked teams. Notre Dame, like I said, looked really good last week. I think Virginia Tech at home, I don't think they get the win, but I think it's one of those games that Notre Dame wins by 2 or 3 points. So Virginia Tech plus 6. 6 is a lot, especially for a home team. Northwestern plus 11 at Sparty. I don't think Northwestern's able to keep this one close. They played Michigan really well last week at home. Now you go on the road, back-to-back really tough games. Let's save your energy for Wisconsin, Northwestern. Save it for Wisconsin. Get the win then. Sparty covers the 11. Last but not least, Florida State at Miami. The U. Florida State's a really, really bad team. I don't really like Miami either. But I'm going to take the Hurricanes, giving up 12.5. They cover it. Those are my sports picks of the week. 5 picks special. Purdue on the bye. It's going to be kind of a light weekend for me. Hopefully everybody's ready for fall break. I know midterms are kind of killing people right now. Projects and papers and whatnot. Power through here. We're halfway there. Almost through the week. Then we get a couple days off. Hopefully everybody has something fun planned, whether it's going home and seeing family or traveling somewhere. I'll be in Austin, Texas. One of my favorite places on this planet. Flying out Friday from Indy. Coming back on Tuesday. Looking forward to that. Seeing The Godfather. Normally he's live from Vegas. He's going to be live in Austin this weekend. Looking forward to seeing him and some family out there and looking into the sights and sounds of Austin. I've never been there during the school year. Every time I go, it's always over the summer and all the kids are off campus. It's probably going to be a wild time down there on 6th Street and Rainy Street. If you've ever been to Austin, if you haven't been, you got to go. It's so much fun. It's just an awesome city. Great food. I mean, you can't turn your head without seeing a breakfast taco place or some barbecue. Great food always. And the nightlife is awesome. Some really fun bars. 6th Street is famous, especially on the weekends, is like a go-to place, and it's good. I love it. It's a lot of fun. But Rainy Street is where I like to hang out. It's a little more low-key, but still a lot of really fun bars and places to hang out and do stuff like that. So definitely, if you haven't been to Austin, you got to go. It needs to be on a short list for you. So let me know where you guys are watching some football this weekend, whether it's at home or traveling somewhere. I know it's pretty popular. Nashville's a popular destination this time of year, and Louisville, and some people go all the way to Vegas and whatnot. So enjoy the weekend for sure. All right, let's do real quick MLB playoff. I think that it's going to be Yankees tonight. Red Sox beat the Yankees. Brewers beat the Rockies. Braves beat the Dodgers. Astros beat the Indians. Red Sox beat the Astros. Braves beat the Brewers. Red Sox are your World Series champions in 6 games over the Braves. All right. Hot off the press, here we go. It's a Brainy Bunch special report. First one of the year. Let's see what they got. All right, guys in the back have been working on this all weekend long. I don't have the audio. I was trying to get the backroom guys to clip the audio, but I guess journalists first, audio clippers second. So I don't have time to play the audio, but I did hear it back. And yeah, all right, so let me show you how the sausage is made here behind the scenes at Next Point Wins. if you're watching on YouTube on the podcast, hi, I have a camera here, so you can see everything that's going on. Well, I always have fluids, whether it's like knock my mic, whether it's water. Normally, I mean it's 10 a.m. I'm a coffee addict. I have to have at least 3 or 4 cups a day, at least. Love coffee. So it's normally coffee, which gets me to be the bubbly, delightful, human, and sweet, soothing voice you hear on radio every Wednesday morning. It gets me to that point, so I have to have that. And then I have to have water. Because I'm not trying to say that I'm like some superhero, but you try talking for an hour straight, nonstop. Your voice starts to hurt a little bit. And usually cough drops or whatnot. I don't need them today, though, because I haven't had to do much broadcasting this week, like this weekend. I normally try to do the cough drops throughout the week if I know I got a busy weekend of talking, but I'm going on vacation. I get to relax the voice. If you do follow me on Twitter, you'll see that every once in a while on Fridays I call high school football games in Fort Wayne, Indiana, for the local high school teams there. So whenever I have to do that, I mean that's Wednesday to Friday. No joke, and it's getting better. It used to be really bad. My voice is definitely getting stronger, but it used to be like it'd be a day where like I could talk, but it hurt, and I had to drink a lot of water, or else I would lose my voice. That's getting a little better, but it's every broadcaster's biggest fear that they're going to go to say something on air and their voice is going to be gone. So I always try to hit the water throughout the week and whatnot. So I like to drink water. Now, that being said, I understand now, after it being called to my attention by a member of the Brady Bunch unit, that chewing ice on air is not the greatest sound on the planet. I had ice in here, and I was hoping I'd still have some ice. That way I could chew it for the people. That way you guys could get a little sound of what I'm talking about. But my ice melted. It's kind of hot in here today. I don't know why. There's a lot of electronics and whatnot. So I get it. All right, I understand that the sound of ice crunching on the mic as I'm trying to talk is not a great look, and it's something I didn't really notice I was doing until it was played back for me. They're journalists first. I get it. It's you know what? Let's just put me through the ringer here. This is just one of those days. Not a horrible call today. I understand that I completed an unsportsmanlike conduct. And you guys all might be at home thinking to yourself, let's just hit all the audios, because some of these we haven't done in a while. So you might be thinking, you know what, Matt? Nobody cares that you have trouble talking. You decide to do the show every day, every week. So figure it out. You know what? You're right. It's not your problem. It's a me problem. Yes, it is a me problem. I get that. And you guys probably don't care. But you know what? It's true. It's just, it's my problem. I get it. Yeah, it does sound like a me problem because it is a me problem. But it's what I got to do. And I get it. I can't do the ice. And then another member of the Brady Bunch team chimes in also, and they just started letting me have it. I didn't bring the water bottle today. Horrible. I don't know why I forgot it, but I have a water bottle that when I pop it open, it makes a sound like pop, like pops, And I guess that's annoying too, which it probably is. It's just stuff that I don't notice or care to notice. I just open my water bottle and I drink it. So we went plastic today. Guy's got to drink water, guys. Sorry. He just has to. He just has to drink it. So, you know what? I'm sorry. And we'll be better. All this does is it makes me better. It makes me better and it makes us better because, as I said last week, dumb people have to face the consequences of being dumb in order to know that they are dumb. That's true. That's just the way it is. Yes, you do. Thank you, Brainy Bunch members behind the scenes coming through and keeping me honest and making sure that I don't annoy my entire listening audience. And you know what, listening audience? If there's other things that I do that annoy you, send them in. Tweet them at nextptwins@gmail.com. Excuse me. Email them there. Tweet them at Matt_Geely. And you know what? Maybe they'll make the show. Go watch The Last Song this weekend. It's a good movie. All right? If you're on a flight or on a long drive and you're looking for something to watch The Last Song. It's going to make you cry. It's going to make you all soft inside. But you know what? Every once in a while, you need something like that. Thanks for listening. This has been Next Point Wins.